What up, B Squad? It is me, JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Abbott Elementary Season 3, Episode 5. You guys, this episode is titled Breakup. Now, before we go ahead and get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, as you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss this episode of Abbott Elementary, shall we? All right, you guys, so we get this new episode and we open it up and you guys know Janine is still down there at the school board, right? School district. And you guys know she has a sub in her class. So Barbara, Gregory, and Melissa see the new sub coming in for the day. And they looked at him and they're talking about how long they think he's gonna last, right? Barbara and Melissa don't really see him lasting. Gregory is like, you know what? Because he got that bow tie on and it takes a lot to top that bow tie, I'm gonna say he's gonna stay. So the guy walks by them, he speaks to them, my brother, my sister, ma'am. And so he walks off, and not even 5 minutes, he comes right back down there. He was like, you know, he smelled the smell, the door was sticky. You know what? I want to be a lawyer. And he took off the bow tie, and it was one of them clip-on them bow ties that you just put around your neck, and that was it. And so Gregory, they made a bet, and Gregory ended up losing that bet immediately. So then we see in the teacher's lounge as Gregory and Jacob are making plans to go out for the night, right? And so Melissa said, did y'all go to the bar that I suggested to you? They were like, yep, we did. And, you know, she asked them how it was at the table. They were like, well, you know, they had a loaded reaction to you. She said, but I bet you didn't have to pay. They were like, you wouldn't have to pay monetarily, but we did have to pay emotionally, right? So Mr. Johnson is in the teacher's lounge, right? And he's listening to Gregory and Jacob make the plans, right? He said it used to be the 3 musketeers, but now it's just the 1 musketeer. And I think he called them assholes. He could have, but suffice it to say, Mr. Johnson is in his feelings about that, right? So then Melissa went down to Janine's classroom, and there's another sub in there. And if you guys watch the movie, oh my God, Joyride, this young lady played in the movie Joyride. I think that's the name of that movie. It came out last summer where the Asian girls went on a trip. It was kind of like The Hangover a little bit, but it was hilarious. So Dead Eyes was what her character's name was, Dead Eyes. I remember that. So the new sub, I was like, when Melissa was asking her about her qualifications to be a sub, and I was like, oh, so do you not have any qualifications to be a sub? Because that's literally what it sounded like to me. But I was like, okay, this is a little interesting, right? But let's pause here and let's move forward, you guys. Oh, there was a piece of hair. Damn, that thing is big. You gotta shrink that. Gotta get rid of it somehow. All right, you guys. So next up, we see Barbara's church choir, right? So they're going to be rehearsing in the gym at a price that Ava has given them, right? And the reason why they're in there is because they found mold in the church. So that's why they'll be rehearsing there. So the lady who's over the choir is telling them, you know, they're going to be singing the song Shackles by Mary Mary, right? So Barbara thinks that, you know, she's a shoo-in for that. And the woman was like, nope. You guys remember that woman that she's had the issue with since the beginning of the show. Well, that woman is, I think her name is Shirley or something like that. She's going to be the one that's going to be singing a solo. And I was like, oh, come on now. We can give it to Barbara. We could give it to Barbara. So then we see Gregory. He and Jacob, they're at the bar, right? And Jacob is throwing darts, right? And at the end of when they showed them darts, those darts went everywhere but the damn board, right? So Jacob is avoiding going home because at this point, he and Zach are in a rut in their relationship, right? And they've been in this rut for 7 months. And Greg was like, why don't y'all, it sounds like y'all just need to break up. And well, that's why the episode is titled Breakup, you guys. So after that, we see Ava, right? So she heard Barbara in her classroom, and Barbara was singing, right? And she's telling Barbara, like, you were definitely robbed of that solo. And the next time that you guys have rehearsal, you need to stand up and tell them what you want, basically, right? And she was like, and do it like I'm that girl. And Barbara's like, I'm that woman. I'm that girl. I'm that lady. It sounds better when we say I'm that girl. I'm that girl. I was like, okay, Beyonce. I loved it, you guys. Now, back over to Janine's classroom, the sub, you just hear the kids screaming at the top of their lungs. And I was just like, what is going on here? So Melissa ran into the room to see what was going on, and they just got their arms in the air and they just screaming. And it's just like, what's going on here, man? Like, why are these babies screaming? Like, why? But neither here nor there, right? So Melissa eventually left the classroom, called Janine up on the phone, gave her the teacher's name to look her up in the database to see if she is a sub, right? And we'll play that out as well. But let's pause here and let's move forward, you guys. You can see it when you look. I'm gonna have to get something to bleach that. I have to find a dermatologist for that. All right, you guys. So next up, we see Mr. Johnson and Gregory as they're walking into school for the day, right? And you see Jacob and Zach in the car with each other, right? So Mr. Johnson called Gregory. He told him his nosy ass. And so Jacob got out of the car, and Jacob and Zach have not broken up with each other. What Jacob is doing is taking a passive aggressive approach. He wants for Zach to break up with him, right? So he said he's doing things that he knows that Zach can't stand. So he got out of the car without saying goodbye to him, right? And so he said he did that because he knows that if he knows him, he knows that he's fuming. And I hollered when I saw this thing because Zach is in that car, like he was fuming, and I was like, oh, that is so interesting to see, but it was funny at the same time, right? Funny at the same time. So Gregory is once again talking to Jacob and telling Jacob, like, why don't you just break up with the man? I was like, that makes more sense. But Jacob is saying he's never broke up with the person, so he doesn't know how to break up with him. I was like, you just say the words, we should break up. We don't need to be together. Something to that nature, something to that effect. Now, back over with Janine and Melissa, Janine made a phone call to Melissa, letting her know that the sub, she couldn't find her in the database. And so Melissa's like, so when are you coming down here? She's like, I got some things to do over here at the board. And she got off the phone and they were like, she's like, I had to take that call. And they were like, we saw you make that call. She said something, but that was that. Now, moving over to Barbara. So she's with the choir, and, they giving Barbara the blues about her ear piercings and all that kind of stuff, right? And so Barbara spoke up to the choir director and was like, hey, I would like to be the one who leads the solo, right? So the one was like, okay, I need you to sing Oh Happy Day. So Barbara started and she stopped her and she said, yeah, we're going to stick with Shirley. And I was like, well, that's kind of rude. So Ava was going to come to the defense of Barbara, and Barbara was like, you don't have to do that, Ava. They've made their choice, so we'll calm down, right? Now, back over with Jacob. Jacob is still being passive aggressive when it comes to breaking up with Zach. He had a sponge. He didn't wring the water out of it. He is just doing things that he knows is gonna leaving the microwave door open. He's just doing all kind of things that he knows is gonna piss Zach off, right? So Zach sent him a text message saying that they needed to talk, right? So Zach came down to the school and told Jacob, I think we need to go to counseling. Jacob said, we need to break up. And he was like, wait a minute, you want to break up with me? He's like, and so Jacob tried to gaslight him. Let's be real. He tried to gaslight him, saying, I thought you said that you want to break up. No, Jacob, you know what you said. You know what it was. So Zach was like, well, if I'm being honest with myself, we probably should have been done broke up, right? And, Jacob then revealed to him that all the things that he's been doing was to drive him crazy so that he would break up with him. And so Zach was like, also buying double condiments when we don't have enough space, or in a cup, in the cabinets or the refrigerator, that was intentional. He says, no, that wasn't. He said, but everything else after that was. And so Zach was like, you released the cracker. Car! I was like, what? Oh my God. I hollered when that fool did that sound. I was like, oh my God. And so he's telling Jacob how he really feels. Now, you guys, we'll pause here and we'll wrap up the episode. Now, we see Barbara. So Barbara went back over to Ava's office, right? And Ava's like, she knows why her sorority sisters don't like her. But why don't the church ladies like Barbara? Is it because of the piercings? She said, no, it's not that. She was like, it's because of, she's friends with that Abbott. I'm assuming she's talking about Melissa. She's talking about the fact that, when she goes to the blues club with Gerald, she also, when she goes on the see Barbara comes out, right? So it sounds like they're very judgmental of her, and that's not what church is supposed to be, but that's what church has become, right? Everybody wants to judge people for things that they do, but if I know the Bible and I know the word, it says no sin is greater than the other, right? So, and nobody on earth has a heaven or hell to put anybody in. So, I'm not even gonna preach, you guys, but it was a good lesson, and it makes you. I was thinking to myself, listen to Barbara's like, if these women pass judgment against you because of things that you like to do in your personal life, then why do you want to be? And Ava even asked her, like, why do you want to be around them? Like, if you have your relationship with God, that's the most important thing, not the approval of those old biddies. But hey, some people need that approval, right? Some people do. But like I said, for me, no. Now, moving over to Jacob. So we find out that Zach has shrunk his clothes, and Zach wants him, Jacob is having to move out because Zach wrote a one-man show about Jacob called Fleabag with an F. And I was with Mr. Johnson, Flea Flag? He said no. I was like, then, okay, never mind. Now, moving back over to Janine. So Janine which I skipped this part, Janine and Melissa, they went down to their substitute teacher's room, right? And they're saying, you're not a real sub. Like, where did you sub at? And she telling them the schools. And Melissa was like, you're just naming presidents. And so Janine looked at the board and realized she spelled the last name wrong. It's Jeffrey. So I think it's Geofffery. I could be wrong about that, but that's how it's spelled. And she said, is it Geoffrey? She said, no, it's Jeffrey. And so I think Janine at one point asked her, is that Irish? Is that the Irish spelling or whatever? So Janine had to apologize to the sub, but they are filing a complaint with the school district. And she's hoping that they spell T's with 2 G's. I was like, that's the least of your words, Janine, but hey. And then at the end of the episode, you guys, we see as Ava did something really nice for Barbara. So, I see people who be saying online, like, they don't like Ava, your favorite principal. I still don't see it for it, right? And I get that people might not see it for Ava, right? Ava got her job under false pretenses, and she doesn't know about her job. But at the end of it, Ava is a lot. She does a lot, but when you need Ava, there are times that you can't count on Ava. And in this particular moment, she set up a recital for Barbara to sing Shackles. And I thought it was really sweet until we got to the end of the episode and Barbara was still up there on that stage and them kids would sleep. I was like, oh, Barbara, let my people free. I was with Ava at that point, you guys. But overall, it was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel, you guys. Turn on your post notifications and share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, you guys. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next video, you guys. So what I'm gonna do going forward on Wednesdays is, since we have reunions for, if you guys watch those shows that I review, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Miami, since they are uncensored on Peacock the next day, I'm gonna watch the uncensored versions and put those out later. So the scripted shows, Abbott and Sisters, those will be up first, you guys. But I will see you guys for Sisters next, you guys. And then after that, we will have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Miami, Traders tonight. I will be doing Traders tonight. And tomorrow we will have, tomorrow, which is Friday, we will have Hot Topics, you guys. And I'm going to do a separate video for talking about Portia. But I'll see you guys in those videos, you guys. Bye.